In beauty may I walk all day long. May I walk through the seasons. May I walk, may I walk in peace. May I walk in peace on this path. May I walk through my life. May I walk in old age. May I walk, may I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk. In forgiveness, may I walk. In loving kindness, may I walk. May I walk, may I walk in peace. In peace, may I walk. May I walk in peace. In peace, may I walk. May I walk in peace, in peace now. May you walk, always walk in peace, in peace. May we walk in peace, in peace. May I walk with loving kindness, in peace, in love. May you walk in joy, in peace, in love. May we walk.
Celebration Center for Spiritual Living, and welcome to another glorious Sunday morning. My name is Reverend Chris Ashley. I'm the senior minister here at Celebration Center, and if you are located in the Northern Virginia area where we are, did y'all notice the little tiny bit of cooler fall-ish type air this morning and yesterday morning? Almost like it's thinking about coming. So that's probably happening wherever you are as well. And whether you are physically located here, whether you're joining us in person, or you are out on the earth? I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but whether you are physically located here in the area or not, you are a beloved part of our community, and we are so glad that you are joining us this morning. If you are joining us online this morning, I invite you to say good morning in the chat. Let us know you're here. Give a shout out. Let us know what color pants you're wearing today. That's what I want to know. What color pants? Are you wearing pants? You might not be wearing pants. What color pants or shirt are you wearing today? And if you're here in the room, welcome. I'm also so glad that you're here. I invite you to go ahead and make sure your phone is on silent. However, don't turn it off. If you want to chat with the people in the online community, feel free to go to one of our platforms, Facebook or YouTube, and do that. We have an awesome service planned today, of course, as usual. I'm super excited about today because we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're continuing this journey of developing our ecological consciousness together, of reinserting ourselves into the systems and the nature of the planet, right? And so we're going to be talking all about water today, which I'm really excited about. We also have Irina Kurashevitz as our practitioner on platform. Yay, Irina. And in case y'all don't know, Irina, she's a badass. Like, in case you weren't sure, Irina actually she's been working with the Ukrainian practitioners long before the war broke out in Ukraine and everything like that. She is the one who translated all of the materials so that they could be licensed as practitioners in Centers for Spiritual Living. But she is also every single day getting on and translating for the 3 o'clock, well, it's 3 o'clock Eastern time. It's different wherever you are. But the 3 o'clock Eastern time meditation and prayer for Ukraine. And she is doing all of the translation and all of the support and networking back and forth between Ukrainian practitioners and practitioners here in the United States and all across the globe. It's mind-blowingly amazing. So I just want to give her another round of applause for that because, y'all, Irina is really doing some amazing work as a practitioner right now. We also have a guest musician today. We have Tapora Belazikian joining us. So yay, I always love when she's here. Her music is delightful and wonderful, and I'm glad that you are joining us today, Tapora. And y'all might remember that I have a wedding coming up in 2 weeks, leaving today, 2 weeks from today, to head to the Outer Banks where myself and my beloved are getting married. And so there are going to be 2 Sundays in a row that I am not here. And I want to tell y'all who we have coming. So 2 weeks from today, we have Reverend Sherry Quander, who y'all know and love. You've seen her a whole bunch of times. And then the following, and I actually have a slide for this. Yes, the following Sunday, September 4th, we have Melissa and Z, Reverends Melissa and Z from Oh My God Life joining us. Now, this is extra special because they live in Santa Rosa, California. They don't get out here very often, but they will be joining us in person because they are the officiants for our wedding. So they're going to marry us and then come back and be with y'all on Sunday morning. So it's going to be a great service to join. So make sure that y'all are here for that. If you are joining us for the very first time today, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. And I invite you to scan the QR code that's right here And or go to the link that's right here and you can fill out our volunteer form and or nope, sorry, not making you volunteer as a guest. Fill out our guest form so that we get to know who you are and how we can support you and how you can become a member of this beloved community. We are still collecting supplies for Lutheran Social Services. This month is diapers, specifically diapers 4, 5, and 6. I know I got really excited when I heard about this because I haven't bought diapers in about 15 years. So I was like, oh, I get to go buy the diapers with the cute little baby booties on them and everything like that. So buy a pack of diapers, drop them in the box up here, or if you are online and joining us from far away, donate to that via Vision in Action Fund, and we will purchase diapers on your behalf. We are still doing Flat Ernest. Here is my Flat Ernest. He has been all kinds of places with us. So if you have your Flat Ernest, be sending those pictures in. And we have something really exciting. So I'm going to invite Miriam Catellis up to talk to us today.
Hi, I'm Miriam Catellis, and on August 18th, we have an art class here at Hyde Hall. And we're going to be creating 2 large mandalas using sand. And when I say large, I mean about 4 feet by 3 feet. And we're going to be working together in teams to create these mandalas, which are going to be here for hopefully several weeks, months, okay? And last time we did this, everyone made their own. And this time we're going to have even more fun. And I can't wait to play with you all here and hopefully you sign up. Go to celebrationcenter.org and scroll down and you will see a registration link.
Yay.
Great.
Awesome. Yay, Miriam! So that is this Thursday, August 18th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And this is an in-person only event. We have not figured out how to teleport you here yet, unfortunately. So go online, make sure you register for that. All of the proceeds come to Celebration Center. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't think that I am. So with all of that, I would like to invite Tapora on for an opening song.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be here. And I can't see you, but I can feel you, of course, through the quantum field. This song is called Ocean Tides, and it is written in celebration of our ocean. So I brought it here in celebration of water.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Tipora. That was wonderful, very meditative. I didn't want to come out of that state. Thank you so much. My name is Irina Kurashevich, and I'm a practitioner here at the center. And when we enter our sacred time, we usually start it from our affirmation, our vision. Take a deep breath, and please read it with me wherever you are. We are celebrating spirit within and knowing the oneness of humanity. And take a deep breath. And I know that it is easy now being in the flow of music, which is also flows like water. If you're comfortable, you may soften the eyes to close or allow the gaze to fall towards the earth. And bring your awareness to your breath. Notice where it is flowing freely and where it feels like it's getting stuck. Imagine the breath as a stream of water flowing through your body. And where the breath is getting stuck might be where there is a rock in the path or a buildup of a debris. And without judging where the breath is or it is going, take a moment to notice your breath. Notice how the breath adapts to its environment. And begin to deepen your breath, allowing the water level of the stream to subtly increase. As the breath becomes more full and the water level rises, the movements of the breath might shift. Now, bring your awareness to the same places that felt stuck. And in this natural flow of your breath, just remember that anytime obstacles arrive in your path, you may always return to this place of deep breath. And today's reading is from Deepak Chopra. He says, as we move through this life, no matter the journey we're on, we will inevitably face challenges. The obstacles that come into our paths might slow us down in the same way a series of rocks might slow down the flow of water. When a stream has a path, it will continue on that path no matter what tries to get in the way. This piece of adaptability gives us the chance to create a dance with all that we encounter. As obstacles arise, we move around, over and under, in our continued growth forward. We carve new paths and create new avenues by which we can travel. Our ability to adapt and continue to carve out these new paths for ourselves is the greatest gift in our growth. And I just simply recognize that there is only one flow. And that flow has so many names, and I choose to call it Spirit. And I am one in that Spirit that flows through everything and everyone, everywhere, in this universe and beyond. And I recognize my oneness. And as I know my oneness, I know that everyone who's present here today, right now, watching it in the future, is present within that flow, the divine flow of energy, the creative process, love, joy, peace, harmony, abundance, prosperity, peace. And I know peace and love for each and every one. I know perfect, loving, direct communication. I know joy. I know abundance. I know plenty of food, plenty of love. I know plenty of dancing, singing, music, smiles, friendship. And I know that all the prayer requests that were spoken or thought, they already answered in the perfect mind of God. And I accept it in gratitude. I accept the flow of life as the flow of water in deep gratitude. I accept love and peace within me and within each and every one, and within the universe in gratitude. And I simply release my words into the law, knowing that maybe it is already water under the bridge, and I just let it be. And this is so, and so it is.
Stand up like a mountain. Oh, oh.
And so now I would like to invite Tafora for another song.
Wonderful. That was a beautiful, beautiful reading. You got me in a meditative space that time. So this song is by Trevor Hall, and he wrote it during Standing Rock, so it's actually called Standing Rock. So if you like this song, you should go check this out on YouTube. It's a beautiful, beautiful song about the concept of mini Wikoni and how we are all tasked by the spirit of the earth and by our stewardship on the earth to be water protectors. We all are, and we can all do something to help our water. So this is called Standing Rock by Trevor Hall, Mini Wikoni. To the east and west, to the north and south, warrior, warrior, gather every tribe, mama needs you now. Warrior, warrior, suits are moving in just to get the dollar. Treaties being broken, no respect or honor. Listen close, my friend, this is happening. Warrior, warrior, and if you are a rock, stand up like a mountain. Oh, 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 rise up from the earth. One love, one message. Oh, 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 banana spirit. And if you are the righteous, hear it. If you are a wreck, stand up like a mountain. Oh, oh, burn the sage and cedar. Spirit is the leader. Warrior, warrior, clouds are getting heavy. Thunder beams are ready. Warrior, warrior, where the oil spills, we cannot drink the water. 7 generations, all the sons and daughters, gather all your friends, this is happening. Warrior, warrior, and if you are a rock, stand up like a mountain. Oh, 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 stand up on the earth, one love, one message. Oh, 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 know that we are strong in spirit, and if you are the righteous, hear it. 'Cause if you are a rock, stand up like a mountain. Oh, oh, water is life, life from the water, water is life. Elders, they taught us water is life, life from the water. Oh, oh, oh. So if you are a rock, stand up like a mountain. Oh, 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 rise up from the earth, one love, one message. Oh, 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 know that we are strong in spirit. So if you are the righteous, hear it. Written on the rock, stand up like a mountain. Oh, oh, oh.
Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome. So water, thank you, Tapora. Both of those songs are absolutely perfect for our talk this morning and for this idea of the water of life. And so if you joined us last week, you will know that I am taking this whole month, which is on nature, I am taking my thoughts and my ideas from a book called Developing Ecological Consciousness by Christopher Ohl. And it's a textbook, and so it's not really something that you would sit down and just kind of read through, although that is what myself and Rev Ryan and Soul Evolution Collaborative and several of us have done, because this book is mind-blowing. Every single page I'm just highlighting and, oh my goodness, and I never thought of it that way. It's just this profound shift in understanding of what we consider to be the natural world and what we consider our place in it to be. And so developing ecological consciousness is really this idea of shifting out of becoming aware of the natural world and shifting into a deeper understanding and consciousness that we are the natural world, that we are not observing something that is happening out there, but are rather a part of the systems and the processes and the cycles. And so last week we talked a lot about the universe and stars and this idea that we truly are made of stardust, that in order for us to be here, the Big Bang, which is still banging, that Big Bang had to explode into hydrogen, which became stars, which then died and exploded and became greater and more complex molecules and elements. And now today, here we are literally made of those elements that existed at the very beginning of the universe 13.8 billion years ago. And so what's really cool about water is that all of the hydrogen that exists in the entire universe has been here since the Big Bang. There has been no more hydrogen that has been created since that original bang, bloom, blossom, whatever you think it was. all of it has existed since the beginning of time. And if you remember from your high school chemistry class, water is H2O, so it is 1 molecule of oxygen and 2 molecules of hydrogen, which means that water is made up of things that have existed in that same state since the beginning, like since whenever that was, like longer ago than we can possibly fathom. How cool is that? And so when we look at this water cycle, and I know I was taught the water cycle like, it rains down from the clouds, and then it rains onto the ground, and it flows down into the river, and the river flows into the ocean, and then the ocean it evaporates. Well, where are we in that? We are a huge part of the water cycle. Our bodies are 70% water. We drink water every day. We bathe in water. We wash in water. We use the bathroom in water. We are constantly part of this water cycle. And yet that is the difference between ecological awareness and ecological consciousness. Awareness says, yes, there's a water cycle, and then we just take the water out of the water cycle to use it and then put it back in the water cycle. Consciousness says, no, we are an integral aspect of the water cycle. We are here as a part of this cycle. So, Ernest Holmes says about water. Now, I have to tell y'all, actually, before I tell you, sorry, y'all back there. I have to tell y'all before I go into Ernest Holmes' quote that water is like my number one favorite thing. My mom put me in swim lessons when I was 6 weeks old. I was one of those babies, and I could actually swim before I could walk. Swim unaided before I could walk. And so I was, my parents love to tell this story. I don't really remember. I think I remember it, but I'm probably just remembering them telling the story, of when I was about 1.5 to 18 months to 2 years old, that they were at this big backyard party with a swimming pool, and all these big teenage boys are wrestling and all of that in the deep end. And I would toddle over and toddle up onto the diving board, and they'd all stop. And I'd jump in and swim over to the side and get out, and they'd all start roughhousing again and over and over and over again. I love water. I think that water has so much to teach us. So on that note, let's hear what Ernest Holmes has to say about water. So what he says is nothing on earth can resist an absolutely non-resistant person. The Chinese say that water is the most powerful element because it is perfectly non-resistant. It can wear away rock and sweep everything before it. Now, I am with Ernest on this, that water is an element that has so much to teach us because it is perfectly non-resistant. It fully forms into whatever container that we give it to form into, whether that container is an entire ocean or it is just a simple glass. That water is, it's slightly positive on one side and slightly negative, and so it bonds really well to everything around it. We were talking about relationships last week. Water loves to be in relationship with other things. And what we see is that water, there's a Doctor Who episode where he says, water always wins. Water always wins. Now, in this case, it was an alien that was trying to get them. But it's true, isn't it? That if you put flowing water up against rocks that have been there for eons, that over time, the water is going to wear away the rocks and create things as massive and as beautiful as the Grand Canyon, as these riverbeds, as these massive mudslides and things like that. Water truly always wins, and it does so from a place of perfect non-resistance. How profound is that? Now, something else that is really cool, y'all know that I have been having a love affair with all things Adrienne Maree Brown, all of her work and her books and everything like that. And right now I'm currently reading Emergent Strategy. And she talks about this idea that emergent strategy is this idea that Any problem that we are seeing in our human world has already been solved in nature. And that all we have to do is look to how has nature solved that problem and then replicate that. Now, emergent strategy is also this idea that you cannot study just a piece of something and understand the whole, that there is something that is emerging from seemingly simple parts to become complex. And then the strategy is to study that complexity and replicate it into our world to solve our problems. So a great example of that is starlings in a murmur, right, where you see them all swooping together and creating these amazing patterns. There is no one starling leader that is telling them where to go or how to do, but instead it is this flow that they all just naturally know how to follow and lead simultaneously to create these amazing patterns, this murmur. And we can't see the murmur by only studying one starling. If we were to only study one starling, their behavior would look erratic. It wouldn't make any sense. It isn't until we look at the emergence of the greater complexity that we can understand what is going on. And so in this idea, we can look at all of the ways that these same patterns and things show up. So if you look at what Adrienne Maree Brown says, is she says, your body is a whole water system, a whole water system. And so I have a picture for y'all. Let me make sure it's coming up on the side. I think it's coming up on the comparisons, yep. And so at the top right here, what you can see is our blood vessels. And if you look, they look exactly like that winter tree. And it looks exactly like the Amazon River Delta. That we are an entire system in our body, and that these systems repeat at all of the different levels. That we truly are an integral piece of this earth, of nature. We are nature. There is no difference between our blood cells our blood vessels that are bringing water and blood and nutrients to our body, that there are the branches that are bringing water and nutrients to the body of the tree, and and then on a bigger scale, that same thing that is bringing water and nutrients into the oceans in this beautiful water cycle. So I want to tell y'all the story of the French Broad River. Now, I know we live pretty close to the French Broad, so who here in the room has heard of the French Broad River? No, yes, no, most people not. Okay. Well, the French Broad River runs directly through Asheville, North Carolina. So it is one of the rivers that I grew up around. Now, what is so cool about the French Broad River is that it is the second oldest river in the world. It is, I know, right? And it's like right here. It's only a few hours away from us here in Northern Virginia. It is the second oldest river in the world. It spans back, I think it said, like 235 million years ago. It is so old that it predates the Appalachian Mountains that it runs through. Now, if you think about, or if you've ever seen a map of the United States and you've seen the Appalachian Mountains, they look kind of piddly compared to like the Rockies or, I don't know, other mountain ranges around. Really across the whole globe, the Appalachian Mountains are actually quite small. This is not because they are a small mountain range. This is because they are so old that they have eroded down to the size that they are. These mountains are some of the oldest mountain ranges in the world, and the French Broad River predates the mountains. And the way that they know that is because, unlike most rivers that run down the mountains, right, because water likes to go, this river runs through the mountains, which means that the mountains came up after the river had already formed and already had its path. Right? So this river is amazing. And yet, for a very long time, it was used as a dumping ground for many, many, many years, probably several generations. It's still, there's parts of it where you can go and you can see cars and tires and trash and all of this stuff. And so when I was growing up there in the 90s, the French Broad River was a polluted river that you could not get in. Nobody swam in it. Nobody did anything in it. There were factories that were dumping into it. People's houses and sewer lines ran straight into it. It was completely toxic, basically unlivable to animals. And this was back in the 90s. I'm not that old, right? And in the 90s, they had this big push to clean up the French Broad River, and everybody had to stop dumping into it. And they created all of these laws that supported restoring the French Broad River. And today, so less than 30 years later, people swim in the French Broad River and float in the French Broad River and play in the French Broad River and fish in the French Broad River and do all of these things. And the life is coming back and the fish are being restored and the water is, you still see tires and stuff in there, but it's mostly clean. And it's restoring and it's revitalizing. And to me, that is just beautiful that it has taken less than 30 years to shift something that happened for generations. And we can do that with our intention. We can do that with the power of understanding that the nature is not something out there to be used or looked at or something like that, but something for us to partner with, to have a relationship with, to develop in such a way that everybody benefits. And by everybody, I mean all of humanity and the river itself and all of the life in it and the plants and the animals and the bacteria and everything can thrive when we move out of this awareness of, oh yeah, nature is out there and it's good, to I am natural, that my systems, my body, my way of being in the world is natural because I am nature. And so it is in our best interest to support the nature and the systems that are around us. Now, I have a short 2.5-minute video from What the Bleep Do We Know that came out back in the early 2000s. And it's the section where they're talking about Masaru Emoto's work on water that he did. And so I invite you to watch this video clip.
Comes to us from Japan and Mr. Masaru Emoto. Mr. Emoto became terribly interested in the molecular structure of water and what affects it. Now, water is the most receptive of the 4 elements. Mr. Emoto thought perhaps it would respond to non-physical events. So he set up a series of studies, applied mental stimuli, and photographed it with a dark field microscope. This first picture is a picture of water from the Fujiwara Dam. And this picture is the same water after receiving a blessing from a Zen Buddhist monk. Now, in this next series of pictures, Mr. Emoto printed out words, taped them to bottles of distilled water, and left them out overnight. This first photograph is a picture of the pure distilled water, just the essence of itself. These subsequent photographs, as you can see, are each different. This is the chi of love. And we move along here to thank you. And you can see where he taped that to this bottle here. But if you read Japanese, you already knew that. Now, Mr. Emoto speaks of the thought or intent being the driving force in all of this. The science of how that actually affects the molecules is unknown, except to the water molecules, of course. And it's really fascinating when you keep in mind that 90% of our bodies are water.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? If thoughts can do that to water, imagine what our thoughts can do to us.
Amen. So that is the power that we wield as water living amongst water, right? As these systems, as a part and an integral piece of the water cycle. So today I want to lead y'all through a process of umwelt. Now this is using our imagination to understand the perspective of other organisms. This is a process that was used by naturalists quite often back in the turn of the last century now, that they would scale themselves down and imagine why is this creature doing this? Why is it behaving this way? And then they would just watch and observe. And so we're going to do this process. Now, I have here a jar of water. This is tap water, came straight out of our tap right over in the kitchen, so it's not special water at all. But I'm going to lead y'all through this meditative process of umwelt. And then at the end, we are going to bless this water and return it to the water cycle. All right? You can do this if you're at home, online. Blessings do not matter how far away we are, they are non-local. So your blessing is just as powerful whether you are at home or joining us here in the room. And so with that, I invite you to take a deep breath. And if you feel comfortable and if you're able, go ahead and close your eyes or soften your gaze. And if it helps, we're going to be imagining being a water molecule. So if it helps, if you need a visual, there's a visual on the screen. And so before we can be a water molecule, we have to start at the very beginning as a hydrogen molecule. And so I invite you to go all the way back to before there was anything, to that which predates matter. And I invite you to simply let go of this time, this space, this body, and just be a thought. I personally like to think that at the beginning there was curiosity, that knowing everything wasn't enough, and so consciousness had to become all things so that it could experience itself. So as you are nothing but a thought, all of a sudden you are so curious about what it means to be that you explode into form, and all of a sudden you are a hydrogen molecule bouncing around. There's a lot of nothingness. As you bounce around, everything's very hot. You're moving very fast. You see lots of other hydrogen molecules all bouncing around, and then all of a sudden you begin to, it's so hot and so pressurized that you begin to be attracted to one another. And as you are attracting more and more and more hydrogen molecules, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And all of a sudden you are at the very center, the very core of a star, and you feel nothing but heat and pressure. Heat and pressure, heat and pressure. It is hot and light. And then through a process of nuclear fusion, you get so hot that you bond with another hydrogen molecule, even though you would be stable otherwise. And it causes such a massive explosion that you are flung off into space. And all of a sudden there are other molecules surrounding you, more complex molecules like oxygen, carbon, helium. And you are attracted to some of these molecules. So you and another hydrogen molecule get together and you're attracted to an oxygen molecule, and all of a sudden you become one single water molecule floating through space. And you float and float and float for billions of years. And all of the sudden, around you, another star begins to form. But you are no longer attracted to all of those hydrogen molecules because you are bonded with your other hydrogen, with your oxygen. And so you float on until suddenly you are pulled into the gravity of planet Earth. You crash into the ground with tons and tons and tons of other water molecules, and you move from being so hot to being so cold that you immediately form into a giant ice block where you sit for millennia at the very bottom of a glacier, feeling nothing but the pressure of your water molecule siblings all around you. Your structure is rigidly formed, and you simply stay just like that in this state of stasis. And then one day, you realize that you're getting warm again. You're getting fluid again. You can all of a sudden move from these tightly wound patterns and structures. And you begin to flow. And you flow down your other sibling water molecules that are still that ice structure. You flow down into the ocean, where due to your nature of relationship, you bond with some salts. You become salt water. You cycle all the way down to the bottom of the ocean where there is no light, only darkness and stillness and peace. And there you stay, noticing how this piece that was the glacier, but it is different. There's more fluidity, that you are moving around in this slow flow, this constant motion, constantly changing and yet ever changeless. And then suddenly you are caught in the Gulf Stream. Slowly at first, moving ever so slowly, and then speeding up rapidly, racing past other water molecules, warming up even faster until you are at the very surface where you break free towards the sunlight, and you become so light that you evaporate up into the clouds. And this is something new that you haven't experienced yet, becoming this gas. And you float around and you become attracted to other water molecules, and you become a cloud, a very beautiful cloud. And all of a sudden, you have attracted so many friends that you become heavy and rain down to the earth. Where you flow into the grounds. And all of a sudden, you come out into a river. You notice that there are animals around you, people playing with you and in you. There is this joy, this lightness as you splash and play with your siblings, play with the animals and the plants and the people before you turn off into a reservoir where you are processed and move through screens and filters, move through charcoal and sand, where all kinds of additives are added, minerals, and everything that makes you healthy for humans. And then you race through pipes where you come out from the tap into this jar that is before us. And so it's easy, at least it feels easy to me, to want to bless every water molecule as I think about this is just one step in a process that has been going on for billions of years. Just a few examples of steps. And so I invite you to come back into your body, perhaps wiggle your fingers or toes if you need to. And you can either keep your eyes closed or open your eyes, but I invite you to put your hands up towards this jar of water. And in whatever way feels good to you, and if you're at home, you can put your hands up towards your screen. And if you are watching later, if this is 10 years from now, the beautiful thing about blessings is that they are beyond time and space, and you can bless this water that is right here, right now, even when you are right there, right then, whenever that is. So I invite you to bring your hands up and bless this water in whatever way feels good for you. Perhaps it is a silent prayer or an out loud prayer. Perhaps it is just simply sending love or energy or light. Perhaps you know Reiki or oneness blessings or another healing modality. I invite you to spend about 30 seconds blessing this water. And what we know from Dr. Emoto's work is that this blessing goes out into the life cycle of water and continues to bless all of the molecules that this water touches. This blessing goes out, this intention, this understanding and consciousness of our own nature is ever expanding just from this one simple jar of water. And so it is. And so now I would like to invite Tapora back for another song.
That was amazing. Thank you for that journey. Wow, so powerful. This song is called Medicine Woman, and it's not only for women. It was written for historically the persecution against herbalists and witches who were natural healers. And, you know, in many parts of the world, they're still persecuted. In the conservative, more biblical parts of our country, even things like acupuncture is considered to be witchcraft. So this is goes out to everyone who's in these healing modalities as a reminder that the earth provides a lot of the healing that you need to then be able to generate that healing within and spark that healing in someone else. So it's called Medicine Woman. Medicine woman, follow me. Don't be afraid of your destiny. You carry the seeds of humanity, ancient secrets from the deep. Medicine woman, take your throne. Medicine woman, don't be afraid of what you know. Medicine woman, follow your path. Look ahead and forgive the past. The power of life is in your grasp. Take your rightful place at last. woman, take your throne. Medicine woman, don't be afraid of what you know. Make time to be alone. Take off your human clothes. Go to the riverside, make a fire. Feel it cleanse, feel your desire. Make time to be alone. Sit down with your weary soul. Sing to the moon and dance with the sun. Feel the glow as the day is done. Take my hand, medicine woman, honor the spirits of the land. Medicine woman, clear your mind. Go to your center and gather your time. The shadows will try to silence and bind your healing power, but never you mind. 'Cause medicine woman, take your throne. Medicine woman, don't be afraid of what you know. Make time to be alone. Take off your human clothes. Go to the riverside, make a fire. Feel it cleanse, feel your desire. Make time to be alone. Sit down with your weary soul. Sing to the moon and dance with the sun. Feel the glow as the day is done. Take my hand, medicine woman, honor the spirits of the land.
Powerful. Yay, Sephora! Beautiful, and what a perfect song as we're talking about our power and the healing intention that we wield in the world. So this is the time in our service for our gifts and our offerings. And so if you would like, there are lots of simple ways that you can give to our center. You can use the QR code or go to the link to be directed straight to our Secure Breeze website. If you are here in the room, of course, you can put your donations right over on the table. And just know that whatever you are giving this morning, whether you are giving a monetary offering or tithe, or whether you are giving your love and intention, your blessing, your time, your talent, your treasure, whatever it is, that your simple presence here is a gift to us. And we are so grateful for each and every person being here with us today. And now I would like to invite Irina up to do our offertory blessing, or our offertory affirmation and a blessing.
Yeah, we have an affirmation, and I invite you to read it with me. This gift I give is God in action. I give it in joy. I give it in love. I give it in faith. I give it knowing that I am blessed, and so I gratefully give. And I gratefully gift my gratitude to all who decided to share their talent, their time, their joy, their finances, their presence with us today. And I know that this flow, the law of circulation, it can be stopped by any obstacles, but no rocks, but no debris. Nothing can stop it. And I know that the Celebration Center is the part of the law of circulation, that all the highest good circulates through it and comes back to the members and friends multiplied abundantly. I know abundance, prosperity, and joy and peace and love for all who is here and who is watching us and who even doesn't know us, but we know that we are the part of each other. And I simply say, I am grateful, and I let it be, and so it is.
And so it is. Oh, thank you so much, Irina. And so now I invite y'all to repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am led by Spirit. I am guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful. And so it is. And let's have one more song from Tapora for the road.
So this is from Cat Stevens. This is called Morning is Broken, and I know a lot of you know most of these lyrics, so you could sing along with me from wherever you are. It's one of my favorite songs from the 60s, 70s. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the earth. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where our feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the warm light, Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the earth.
Thank you, Tapora. And we definitely had some people singing along here in the room and probably at home too. And so with that, I send you out to flow like water, trusting and remembering your own water, the waters that make up your very soul, and becoming that integral part of the water cycle that we know that you are, that we know that we each are. And so it is.